Hey y'all, it's your girl Nia the Most High, your motivational speaker slash spiritual guide who uses psychology and intuition to help you manifest and basically read into things. Okay, let's get into it. So, first off, happy quote unquote New Year, Happy New Year. This series that I am starting is for the zodiacs, okay? So for the month of January, we're entering this new year and we're just getting straight into it, starting with Aries, okay? So Aries, this year, this is the key. Don't explain ish, move in silence and execute. What is the first question for Aries? Why does the urge to explain increase when identity and direction are actively changing this year? So the first thing I got is temple, right? You are going to have a lot on your mind this year, right? I just see a lot of creativity, a lot that you want to put out there, and not even just creativity. You have a lot of thoughts, a lot of different emotions, happiness, sadness, okay? And it's like you kind of feel like this year you're going to be feeling like, okay, I'm holding all of this by myself, and I just want to express it. I just want to get it out. But remember to treat your mind, your body, and your spirit like a temple. Not everybody needs to know what you are going through. You don't have to over-explain, and that doesn't mean just be silent and hold it in, but it means be careful who you're talking to, but be careful of what you are sharing. Sometimes you just need to sit and meditate on some things before you just express it, okay? And we'll express it. We're going to be expressing stuff in a healthy way this year, Aries. We're not telling all our business this year, okay? We're not going on social media posting all our business this year, okay? We're not trauma dumping on people this year, okay? When we're going through it, this is what we're going to do. Some people need to pray about it. Some people need to meditate on it. Some people need to journal about it. But we not trauma dumping our thoughts this year. Okay, and we also not holding them in, but we not telling them to the wrong people either. Some people may need to go to therapy and get you a spiritual guide, okay, or like I said, write it down. But most of all, creatively express what it is you are trying to say. Some of you may know how to draw. Some of you may be athletic. Some of you may be an artist, a musician, okay? Put all of that energy into what it is you are passionate about, okay? So, something else that we're going to talk about is you are learning how to rebirth. You're not that old person that just let people in your business, okay? You're not that person that just trauma dump anymore. You're not that person. You're learning how to be stronger, okay? You're going through yet another rebirth, but this year you coming back stronger, okay? And you're telling yourself, I know that it's okay for me to cry. That's what you got to remember. It's okay to cry. Okay, you could have the ugliest cry if you need to, but when you're crying and you feel like, oh my God, I need some help, I can't hold this in. Like I said, you don't have to silence yourself. You don't have to hold it in. But you do have to learn that this year I have to pick myself up. Because if it's nobody else around me to do it, obviously I can't stay stuck. So I got to pick myself up, okay? This year is about saying your God and your goddess affirmations as well. You're saying affirmations that lift you up this year, okay? You're realizing how magnificent you really are. You're speaking to yourself and saying, I am great, I am powerful, I am beautiful, I am handsome, whatever it is, okay? I am a hard worker, I am accomplishing. So whenever you start to feel low, you got to remember your mind, body, and spirit is your temple. That's your sanctuary. Not everybody belongs in your sanctuary. Not everybody needs to see the struggle, okay? Not everybody, and sometimes it get like that. Sometimes we it's not that we want sympathy, but we want people to know this is real. This is what I'm going through. But no, this year they could see how you did it. They could see the results. They don't need to see you while you're a mess, right? Okay, and you can still be real. You can still be raw, but behind closed doors. You don't have to broadcast that you are messed up, okay? Because maybe last year you broadcasted a lot, maybe you posted on social media a lot about how you was feeling, right? Or maybe you was talking to the wrong people, venting to the wrong people, right? And then they giving you the wrong ideas, the wrong advice, right? Okay, so this time you're learning how to vent to self. You're learning that it's okay to be real. It's okay to be raw, but y'all don't deserve to see me when I'm at my lowest. You'll see me when the results is done. Okay, you'll see how I got to where I'm at. Okay, so again, it's okay to cry, but you gotta lift yourself up, Aries. All right, and you gotta remember the magnificence that lives inside of you. All right, y'all, let's move on to our second question. How does silence reduce cognitive load and preserve emotional energy over long periods? So, I have something that I wrote down is pine time, okay? So, a lot of people don't know the spiritual significance of pine, but it's resilience, right? I don't know if y'all see pine cones around still, because I don't really see them, but if you happen to see a pine cone, or even if it's a picture of it, okay, this is your sign to remember this reading and to also be resilient, okay? Silence is going to show you how resilient you are, because you're going to realize that you ain't got to respond to everything with your voice, okay? You don't have to respond to everything. You don't have to lower your vibration, okay, to explain something. You're focusing on being in a high frequency this year, and you loving and liking on yourself. Therefore, you're not confused about yourself in a way that you got to go get validation from others. And you need to ask them, well, is this right? Is this, you don't need to do all of that this year, because you're being resilient. Silence is giving you resilience. And like I said, you're not holding it in. You're just learning how to love yourself more. Now, I want to read the question because I don't like to be repetitive, right? So let me read it again. How does silence reduce cognitive load and preserve emotional energy over long periods? So, again, we're practicing on having a high frequency. We're practicing on being influential, okay? Meaning that we are going to be so high vibrational. We're going to be loving ourselves so high that people are going to look at us and say, dang, I want to be like Aries. Okay, what is Aries getting into? What has Aries been doing? When I tell you, you're going to be doing, like, your whole life is going to be flipped around. Okay, and people are going to be like, wow, they made a really big change in life. They're doing good. Okay, if people knew you as an alcoholic, or they knew you as a hothead, okay, or they knew you as somebody that's always fighting, or always, what's the word I'm looking for? Ooh, it's on the top of my head. Always being impulsive. They knew you to be somebody not lazy, but somebody that's all over the place, right? And a lack of direction. This year, they're going to be like, dang, they really stepped it up. I need to get like that, because you're no longer sleeping on yourself this year, okay? You are growing in silence, literally. The silence that you're taking to yourself, this solitude that you're taking, this time that you're taking out for yourself, you're growing in this time, and you don't have to grow out loud. You don't have to say, hey, y'all, look what I'm doing. You ain't got to do that, okay? And it's like you don't want to do that. It's like even at the end of 2025, towards the end of 2025, you say, man, wait for the shit that they start. Ooh, I don't want to curse, because I don't know if you could even cuss on YouTube, so I'm trying not to do that. But you've had some tricks up your sleeve, okay? It's basically what I'm trying to say. You're like, man, wait until they see this project. Wait until I hit them with this. Wait until they see how hard I'm finna hustle. Because you also went through some stuff that's making you work even harder. Not burn yourself out, but it's like you got something to prove, not to them, but to you. So that's why this year, it's like you really coming harder. Like, all of that stuff that happened years ago, they can forget about that, because this year you're stepping into a new and lighter version of yourself. Okay, here's our next question, y'all. What happens neurologically? Sorry, that word always gets me. What happens neurologically when focus shifts from talking to executing, okay? So, as I said, this year you're going through a rebirth. Everything is all about concentration. And the key is love, okay? That joy that you are looking for, like I said in the beginning, is in whatever your talent is. And this year is the year when you realize that love is inside of you. You like, okay, having a partner is cool, but I don't need you. You feel me? Like a partner that you with, if you was like chasing them or one of them, or you was somebody that was really needing love last year and these years before, they gonna be looking at you different because they're gonna be like, wow, they don't even need me. They not even chasing me. And you know, as an Aries is impulsive, right? When it comes to love, Aries are like some of the best lovers as well because they fall deep into love, and it's kind of like they chase, you know, because that's the type of love that they have. But like, you're just like, I don't even have the energy to chase. Like, I got so much that I need to focus on. I don't have the energy to chase you. Okay, and the only thing that is real is love. But now you're learning how to channel your love in a different way. You're not channeling your love in just one person. Okay, you're channeling. Actually, you are channeling your love in one person. You're channeling your love inside of yourself. But not one person is going to be able to benefit and drain off of you like it's been these last few years, right? So you are surrendering to your own self-love, okay? And then it's like fertile soil around you, okay? You're also giving birth this year, okay? But not, for some, it's not a child, it's actual creations, okay? It's a rebirth of yourself. You're giving birth to a new you. Okay, you're giving birth to a business. You're giving birth to an idea that works. You're giving birth to success. Okay, and you're actually surrendering. You're not chasing love because you know that love is inside of you. So when you know that the love is inside of you, your neurons start clicking, and it's like, okay, we have to focus on what we want to do. And it's not being selfish. It's being smart. It's executing. It's doing what you got to do for you. Okay, now let's move on to the next question. That one went fast. How does consistent action across months build self-trust more effectively than reassurance? So, for the year of 2026, like we said, you're realizing that all the love is inside of you, but you're also realizing that everything you touch turns to gold. That's what you're realizing, okay? Like, you used to give all your gold away, right? But now you're like, no, I'm keeping my gold and I'm utilizing it, right? And so you're taking the gold that's inside of you, and I promise you, everything you touch turns to gold. You're going to be fixing things, creating things, using your hands, coming up with new systems, okay? And it's 444 as I stated, and that brings me to offerings, okay? A lot of people may not be as connected to your ancestors, but they're there. And then it's 444. I'm getting a sign to tell you guys this. And I have some Aries. I'm an Aries placement as well. So last night, I didn't have a dream. It wasn't a dream. But when I was asleep, I can't even really fully remember what it is. But I remember like hearing spirits, right? And then faintly seeing them. And they're like, it's okay, you know, we got you. We just wanted to let you know that we got you this. Okay, and when I woke up, I realized that it was my ancestors. And I'm sharing this with you because it's 444. And then I wrote down offerings. I'm looking at the word offerings, right? And the ancestors want offerings. So they're letting me know to tell you guys this story. And like I said, it wasn't a dream. I'm just laying there and I'm just feeling spirits over me. And they're like, it's okay. We got you. Like, we just doing some work. You lay back down. You go back to sleep. Okay, we got you. We just doing some work. So let your ancestors and let your guides work over you. Okay. And like, even when I was waiting, like I said, I don't even remember what they were fully doing, but I didn't wake up alarmed. Okay. I wasn't scared. I wasn't like, dang, what the hell was that? I'm scared. When I woke up, when I woke up and I was, coming to my senses and stuff, I wasn't like, dang, what is that? I didn't feel scared. I felt protected. I felt like, dang, I don't know what my ancestors was doing last night, but they was doing some work on me. Okay. They told me to go back to sleep. They said it was okay. So with that being said, like, this year you're staying connected to your angels, your guides, your ancestors, your Christ, okay? And not everybody may not believe in ancestors like me, and that's cool because I don't talk down on anybody else's beliefs because we really just believe the same thing in different fonts. So I'm not that type of person. So for you it may be Christ, for you it may be God, it may be an archangel, okay? Whatever. It doesn't matter. But that's how I was giving you my example, okay? Your guides, they're over you, okay? They like, we got you. You don't even have to do much. You just be still, do what we tell you to do, and we got the rest. We're protecting you. Anything that tries to dart your way, we're knocking it down. We shooting it down. We beating it up. You ain't got to worry about it, right? And you're also focusing on your inner child, okay, in 2026. You're letting yourself know that it's okay. You're being nicer to yourself, right? Because we all have an inner child. And for those that don't know, your inner child is the younger you. Basically, the younger you that didn't get to grow up correctly. The younger you that lacked a lot, right? The younger you that needed the protection. So you're going back into time and you're talking to your younger self and you're like, it's okay, it's cool. We went through this, but guess where we at right now? Look what I manifested for us right now, right? And then I want to touch on the moon phases, okay? Whenever it's a full moon, it doesn't matter if you're what religion, Christian, what belief you have. Whenever it's a full moon, do a ritual that fits you. It doesn't have to be candles. It could be praying. It could be meditating. It could be journaling. But whenever it's a full moon and whenever you realize and you catch it, do some stuff for the full moon this year. Really get connected with the moon, because the more you are connected with the moon, the more you'll be connected with your intuition. And this is for Aries, right? Any Aries placement, be connected with the moon. That's going to bring you more alignment. And then I'm seeing that you need to drink more water this year. And not just that, maybe you need to move bottled water, and that's just for some people, whoever it resonates. But you need to drink more water, okay? Maybe shower and bath time needs to be more ritualistic. Okay, it needs to feel like you pampering yourself, right? Okay, you need more water. Your relationship with water, and even with water signs, your relationship with water has to be different this year. And I'm downloading and channeling that you are going to be attracting water signs, not just in a romantic setting. Okay, but if water signs, it could be family. Okay, it could be friends, it could be lovers, it could be whoever. But when you're attracting them to help heal them, and they're going to help heal you, and you guys are on a mission together. So water is very significant. Even when you drink water, talk to the water, okay? Bless the water, okay? Make some moon water, okay? And I'm just feeling like Cancer is very significant. You may have some Cancer in your chart somewhere, right? And like I said, you're going to be attracting water signs, especially Cancer. Cancer is going to be coming to you for help, okay? And it's okay. Usually I tell people, make sure you're setting boundaries, which is true. Don't let people drain you. But when these Cancers come to you and they just went through something, they're going through distress, you are really motivating Cancers, because Cancers went through a lot last year. Okay, all Cancer placements went through a lot in 2025, and they always go through a lot. But something about 2025 was just different. So when that Cancer is coming to you, when those Cancers coming, and they're like, yeah, Aries, I'm going through this, I'm going through that, and you just inspire me. And I want to thank you for picking me up. Hug them, love on them. When they come to you with ideas, work with them. So I see Cancers is going to be like your best friend this year, right? You may be reconciling with the Cancer. You may meet a Cancer lover. You may already have a Cancer lover. Somebody may have Cancer in their chart, okay? But Cancer is very significant. Also, I feel the need to say this, and I'm not diagnosing anybody, okay? Either you already have it and you know this, or you attracted somebody who you know already has it, okay? Or, somebody may end up having it, but I'm not wishing this, But Cancer, the health, disease is also significant too. You may attract people with cancer. Okay, if you already have it, you may be beating it, okay, this year. Okay, so I'm not saying that you are going to have it. I'm making a message for those who already do. And if you don't have it, then you may be attracting somebody with it, but they are going to beat it, okay? And you may be helping them in a way, maybe helping them with herbs, maybe just giving them love, making them get up and exercise. So not only are you helping the zodiac sign cancers, but you may attract somebody who has cancer, okay? And you actually giving them a boost. Maybe it's not just cancer. Maybe it's some type of disease, okay? But you helping them heal, okay? And if you already going through health issues, you are healing, okay? So as you are trusting yourself, it's 4:55 as I say this, and we just passed 10:55, 5555, and I'm seeing the number 14. You break that down, it's 5. You're bringing a lot of change. So as you are bringing change and you're learning how to trust yourself, others is coming to trust you too, okay? And then it'll be the people that you never even thought looked up to you. They trust you, okay? Because you've been trusting yourself. And for some of you, people probably have stuff bad to say about you. Like, yeah, this person did this to me, and this year they did this, they did that. But you're not that same person no more. Yeah, you was deceptive. Yeah, or maybe you was cold. Yeah, you was a fucked up person. I'm sorry, a messed up individual to people. Okay, but that was their perception. And this new person that you're becoming, you actually stepping up and being a new person. You like, nah, I don't even, all that stuff that they put on me, I never believed I was that anyway, but I know that I'm not that. You know, and I'm taking accountability for the stuff that I did, but I'm a changed person. I'm changing my attitude. I'm being there for people. People trust me because I trust myself and I trust the universe and I do what's right. Okay, y'all, let's move on to our third question. I don't even know if this is the third. Let me just say next. I think I lost count. But how does moving in silence protect motivation during early fragile stages of growth? So, first thing I got is mantra over mind, right? So, like we said, instead of telling all of our business, instead of posting it, instead of, getting in that state of mind where we feel like we got to get validation, we are talking to ourselves, we're saying affirmations, we're meditating on things, we're thinking about stuff, we're thinking before we speak. And also we're celebrating ourselves, right? We're celebrating ourselves and we're being celebrated once people see the results. But we don't need them to see us doing it, in the midst of it. We're going to wait till we get to the results, but we celebrate in our small wins, okay? And we're feeling free by being quiet, okay? That's what you're going to have to learn this year. Be quiet, because it may be a situation where you kind of speak up and say something, and now it's rumors going around. Now everybody know your business that ain't supposed to know it. Or maybe this is what you went through in 2025, okay? And you had to learn, let me be quiet, okay? Because people talk too much. I told you this, and your mama, your daddy, your cousin, everybody know what I'm going through, right? So keeping things to yourself is going to keep you free from drama. People can't say, oh, I heard you said this, or I heard this, oh, this happened. No, none of that's going on this year. You're freeing yourself from that, okay? So silence will set you free. And you are being the shift this year. Like I said, you're changing, and people ain't going to believe it. They're going to be like, dang, they acting real different. But that's because you are the shift. You're shifting everything in your life. You just know that it has to be a change. And I'm sensing with a lot of you, before 2025 it even ended, you had a moment where you cried or where you was just really quiet and you was just thinking, you said, I'm tired of this and I can't do it no more. I got to do something different. I have to shift my life. And here it is. Okay, this is your confirmation that you're doing that. All right, y'all, let's move on. What psychological shift occurs when validation is delayed and internalized? You reach new levels. When you ain't got nobody else there to talk to, all you got is yourself. You and self have to figure this out. And you reach a new level and you realize I will be okay. Okay, I'm just going through a slow moment. It's kind of like when I realized this a lot with myself. Like I would be having a really bad day and I'm just like, wow, life is just coming down on me. I don't know what this is. I don't know what to do. I don't know. And then the next day, everything is all cool. Because that's how life is. You're going to have your ups and your downs. You're just going to have a slow day. You're going to have a slow drift, a slow moment. But that doesn't mean that you need outside validation. And now I'm learning whenever I feel that way, I need to go take a shower, okay? I need to go wash my hands with some salt. For you, you may need to go pray, okay? You may need to go outside and breathe, all right? When you're having a hard day, you got to redirect yourself and say, all right, before I get to spazzing, posting on social media, calling, FaceTiming people, and just venting, let me go get my journal. Let me go talk to the universe real quick. Let me talk to my inner child. Let me let myself know that it's okay. Okay, let me step out of my mind in order to clear my mind, right? And then every time you see 11:11, I want you to remember this video, because 11:11 is going to be significant for you this year, because you are stepping into divine timing, okay? You are being a master manifester this year, okay? You are doing the work, all right? So just because you have slow days, don't let that get you down. You're doing just great. You just got to keep going. You don't need validation from nobody, all right? Let's go on to our next question. How does discipline function as emotional How does discipline function as emotional regulation for high drive personalities? All right. So when you're disciplined, you feel like you got the power. You are most comfortable when you're disciplined, when you cleaning up neatly, when you taking that shower early, when you taking that cold shower, when you doing that exercise, okay, when you saying, no, I can't do that, okay, I need to take some time off of this, when you taking that medicine, or, you know, just, and when I say medicine, I'm channeling something. When you're doing something at the same time every day, or you're sticking to something, when you're having the discipline, okay, that's when you are most comfortable. That's when you feel most geared up, okay? And then you are learning how to love without the attachment, right? You're being disciplined within yourself. You're not reaching out to negative people no more. You're not letting negative people drain you. You're learning how to push through. And then you're going to be realizing that you're going to be in sync with the right people. Like, you're going to be thinking about certain people, then they mess around and call you, or they pop up. Okay, or you know, they text you, or y'all say the same thing at the same time, or they bring up something that you was thinking about, because you're going to be not only in sync with the universe and agree, but you're going to be in sync with those around you and yourself. Okay, so when you're really disciplined and you're really aligned and you really have a spiritual routine going, and you're really in the 505, as I say this, okay, and I'm saying 555, when you're really embarking on change in a new life, you start to be in sync with life. Okay, so let's move on. Why do results communicate boundaries more clearly than confrontation? So I'm picking up on some wicked energy. Okay, it's gonna be some wicked people this year. Okay, that is going to be jealous. Okay, because you're achieving and they feel like they're not. They're going to be jealous of your success. They're going to be jealous of your happiness. They're going to be jealous of your growth, everything that you're manifesting. They're going to be jealous because you want to be alone. And this is probably stuff that you went through before. Maybe you went through this last year or even years before. People take it personally when you want to be alone. They say, oh, they acting funny. They don't want to mess with me. Oh, they ain't like that. They ain't like that. You know, they say all of these little stuff. They go talking about you behind your back. Oh, they ain't no money. They don't want me around me. I don't know what's going on. And then they speaking all this ill will on you just because they don't know that, hey, they going through something in the inside and they need some time alone. And instead of me being a cool, nice, collective person, asking them what's wrong, I'm judging them for how they feel in the space that they need to take out. Mind you, you ain't even say nothing bad about this person. You just took space to yourself, right? And this is probably, and if it didn't happen before, it's going to happen this year. People going to speak ill about you, okay? If you spiritual and you know about your spirituality, people going to try to throw hexes at you. But I promise you, it's going to bounce right back on them real fast. People going to try to sabotage you. And they're not going to be able to do it. Because it's like you being wicked, all because I'm taking my space. And that's the reason why I'm taking my space. Because look how you act. Look how you act. That's why I want to be around you. And they're going to be like, dang, you know, look how you act. So you're going to realize that your alone time is holy. Okay, your alone time is for you. And you don't need to give anybody time if you don't feel like it. And if you need time to yourself, you really being at peace. Okay, and people is really gonna be depressed with their life, and you may even have a moment, right? Because like I said, life go up and down. You ain't always gonna have your happy moments. You're gonna have a moment, like I said, when you're sad and you're down and out and you're depressed, and people, instead of people coming and checking on you and actually asking you if you're okay, you're not asking, can you do something for them? You being quiet, they're gonna take that personally. When in all actuality, you need the love that you be giving out. You only hitting me up because you want something. You're not hitting me up to see how I'm doing. You're just trying to get close to me. And if you are trying to see how I'm doing, you're only doing that for a little while just to get close to me so you can continue to use me and take what I got. And I can't let you do that. So this year, you're not even going through no big depression, okay? Because like 2025 was that year. But this year, you really breaking out of it, right? And you telling your inner child, it's okay. We don't have to deal with people like that, right? So, let me get on to this next question. How does long-term execution rewire impulsivity into strategic behavior, right? So, you're planting seeds and you're watching them grow. You're changing the narrative. I see that you're changing the narrative, but you're also being the illustrator. You're creating the story. You're rewriting the story, okay? This year, I see some crying, but I see some happy tears. I do feel like it's just going to be this overwhelming moment when you're just crying joy because you actually accomplished something that you needed and you wanted so bad that all you can do is cry and say, thank you, God, thank you, universe. Okay, you're going to be feeling so much gratitude. You're going to be overwhelmed with gratitude because you're remembering who you are. You're remembering when it was a state of time when you wasn't like this, when you was low, when you was drinking, when you was smoking, when you wasn't exercising, when you wasn't being disciplined. It was a time when you feel like you couldn't even crawl out of this. Now look at you now, right? So that's what you're going through in 2026. Not going through, that's what you're getting to, right? And I see something about the summer being very significant. Like the summer is yours. The summer is when you really make big accomplishments that you didn't even think that you was going to be able to pull off. I see new businesses, okay? New homes, towards spring and summer, okay? New homes, new businesses, new car, okay? New life. And you built this life, and you ain't need nobody else to do it for you. You did it. So the next question is, what changes in self-concept when identity is anchored in behavior instead of intention? So, with that being said, this year you are focusing on your mission, okay? It's all about seeing things crystal clear. Now, you have a lot of miles on your heart because all you really do is love. But you got to stay intentional, okay? You got to learn how to debrief, okay? You got to learn how to not allow people to drain you, not allow for them to pour from your well and not even replace the water that they just drank and took for others and, all this other stuff. You have to learn how to pace the love that you are giving out. And that doesn't mean that you have to limit it. It just means is that you got to pace. And I'm seeing 511. That's the angel number. Pace yourself. Okay? Focus on self. Know thyself. When something is heavy, you got to debrief from that. Okay? When people trauma dumping on you, you got to debrief from that. Okay? You can't be holding on to everything. When you're intentional, you don't hold on to everything. You know when to let it go. Okay? I think we're at our last question, y'all. We are. By the end of 2026, how does silent consistency redefine Aries' sense of power, authority, and confidence? Everything is working out for you, okay? And when I'm saying that, make sure you guys go back to the last video I posted. Things always work out for me, and listen to that because this can also pair up with what you're going through, right? You're going through a rebirth, okay? Somebody maybe, I'm picking up on a man, okay? Maybe you are having a child, your partner is pregnant. I see a child, okay, being born pure. But I'm also seeing for Aries as a whole, and even women, maybe you having a baby this year, okay? But I don't want you guys to, get too think about it too much, all right? This, if you're already pregnant, yeah, this could be for you. But I don't want people thinking that, maybe I'm gonna get pregnant this year unless you was actually trying, right? But I'm just seeing things being born pure, okay? I'm seeing things coming in clean, okay? Babies, right? Creativity, businesses. You're on a whole nother vibe. You're on legacy, right? You're building a legacy. You're birthing a legacy. And you're moving with the universe. And you're doing it while being in solitude, while knowing everything works out for you, when you are creating healthy thoughts, birthing healthy thoughts and happy habits for yourself, and you're moving in alignment, and you're doing everything in solitude and not needing validation. So by the end of 2026, you're going to realize that you did it on your own. You ain't have to ask for help. You ain't have to have people hold your hand. You ain't have to ask for validation. You did it in silence. So happy New Year, y'all. Thank you for tuning in. And I love you guys, okay? Make sure that you subscribe, comment, like, share, donate. I appreciate y'all. Thank you.